Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. We have a juicy update on all things ships and vehicles. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members, in particular to Vaultboy and Whisper for becoming my latest patrons. It is very much appreciated. Thank you for the support. So this month's monthly report brought with it a very nice, juicy update on the progress of many vehicles and ships currently in various stages of production. Firstly, let us talk about work on 5 unannounced vehicles. It says 2 of the 5 completed their white box phase and are now well into grey box, with focus on detail around the hull. So these 2 are about early to midway through the vehicle pipeline. Another of the 5 vehicles is in the final stages of production and is currently receiving the finishing touches and bug fixes ahead of its release. Now this, I suspect, is referring to the RSI Meteor, which I believe is a new entry ship into salvaging, so a kind of small salvager similar to that of the Golem for mining, and from what we saw it's going to be even smaller than the Misk Fortune. The Meteor could be something completely different, but that is my guess. Now the 4th vehicle, it says, is from a prominent manufacturer, and this entered production and is currently approaching its white box review. Now I'm not sure what this could be, as a prominent manufacturer doesn't really narrow it down too well, plus we have nothing else to go on, but it is very early on in the vehicle pipeline, so likely a little while until we see this come to life. And then for the 5th unannounced vehicle, this, it says, is a new variant and has just entered pre-production, but the team did say that this ship may have the record for the fastest vehicle through the production pipeline. So no idea what this could be, but if they are expecting it to be a very quick ship or vehicle, then we could see it come to fruition pretty soon, even though it has just entered pre-production. Now next we have an update on the Anvil Paladin, which is a mid-sized gunship. This has progressed through grey box, with Cloud Imperium tasking additional artists to move on to it once their other tasks were completed to get it ready for its July gate review. And I think once it passes its grey box review gate, it should then move into the final art stage, in which they kind of finalise the model and details before pushing it into getting it ready for flight. This vehicle is a very cool looking gunship, especially with that anvil aesthetic. Now, pre-production began on the Gatac Railin, which is the Xi'an medium-sized freighter with its cargo on the exterior. A very nice looking ship, and will certainly add to the whole cargo hauling lineup, adding a lot more variety to that area. But the Railen is set to continue on between other tasks ahead of its official entry into production later this year. So the chances are it might not come this year. It still could, but it really depends on at what time it does enter full production, as it is quite a largish ship, but nice to hear that it is progressing, albeit in between other tasks. Now for the Drake Ironclad, or Ironclad, or Caterpillar, whatever you want to call it. This is one of my greatly anticipated ships. I don't own it, I'm just excited to see it come along. This is a large armoured freighter, pretty much exactly what you think of when you think of a large cargo spaceship. Now it doesn't specify whether it's going to be the base Ironclad or the Ironclad Assault, hopefully both, but it does say that some areas are receiving layout alterations to improve traversal alongside refinement to the modular Drake kit. So still likely either white box or grey box while they establish the general layout, but with this modular Drake kit, which are kind of pre-created assets that can be essentially plugged into areas quickly, to put it very simply, it will certainly help to speed up its production, and massively help to add to the overall Drake modular asset library, which in turn will help to push ships like the Drake Kraken along much quicker. More on that ship in a minute. Okay, so next up we have the RSI Apollo Medevac and Triage. Now, these 2 have just reached LOD 0 phase, or level of detail 0 phase, which is part of the whole flight prep stage, so they should be flight capable at this time, which is an exciting concept. But they say the developers are ensuring that the modular medical bays swap out and behave as expected. Now, I am very happy to hear that, as it means that the Apollos, when they do release, they will have their swappable modular medical rooms and beds. And as we understand it at this time, you could have one tier 1 bed in either room, 2 tier 2 beds in either room, 3 tier 3 beds in either room, or a mixture of the two. This idea may change, as there is still a lot of updates to come to the medical profession, but it won't be long now until we see these two ships release. Will they have their recovery drones upon release? I don't personally think so, but I certainly do hope so. Now, sticking with RSI, the RSI Apollo, which is the heavy military gunship, this has approached its grey box gate review with a lot of work being done to prepare anything that animates, like the torpedo launchers, to make it easier for the downstream teams. Now, the Perseus is trudging along very nicely, still got a long way to go, especially due to its size, but they are making great headway, and once complete, focus should then shift onto the RSI Galaxy. And right now there is a lot of focus and progress on RSI on all scales, with the Meteor, which is, I suspect, a very tiny RSI ship, the Apollos, the Perseus, the already released Polaris, and soon the Galaxy, all helping to get that design style and the modular kits further established, which will certainly aid in eventually working on ships like the RSI Orion mining platform. Oh, that is going to be a beast. Still not in production from what we know, but it is certainly going to be a lot of fun working on one of those. Okay, and finally, we have the Drake Kraken. Now, this monster of a ship has entered pre-production with the intention of it entering full production later this year. Right now, they are identifying areas from the original concept that will need further attention to bring it up to modern standards. Holy moly, it is finally happening. Of course, even if it does enter full production later this year, it will need a good duration of time to get completed, so I absolutely do not expect to see this release this year. The Kraken is most likely going to be 2026, but hopefully we will get to follow along with its development, and all the work being done on the Kraken and the Ironclad will help to update all the other Drake ships, like the Caterpillar, which is extremely outdated right now. But there you go. Those are the latest updates and news for all of the vehicles currently in various stages of development. There are some really exciting vehicles in the works, and many heavy hitters as well that will just drastically add to and complement the persistent universe as we have it now, and I can't wait to see them come along. Now, with that said, I can get you 5% off anything at the IMPOUND. The TOBII Tracker 5 is 15% off still until the 14th of July, and I can get you 15% off a GameGlass Lifetime Pass. All the links can be found below, and any purchase made using those links will directly support my channel and content, so a big thank you in advance if you choose to do so. If you do enjoy my videos, please do consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. Also, be sure to come and hang out either here on YouTube while I stream or over at twitch.tv/SuperMacBrother. You are all more than welcome, regardless of whether you are brand new, a veteran, or somewhere in between. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind, it does the channel a big favour, and tick that notification bell if you'd like to be notified when my videos go live. Be sure to check out my camping YouTube channel if you would like something a little different. That is linked below. Again, a big thank you to my patrons and channel members. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.